What's going on, everybody? My name is Zach Hartley and welcome back to the channel. I am very excited to make this video because it is officially my favorite time of year. And the reason that it is my favorite time of year is because it is the start of the Global X BetaPro biggest winner trading competition. And so in this video, I'm gonna walk you through everything you need to know about the competition, what my strategy is, and what the strategy was of the people that won last year so that you have a leg up on the competition. Let's jump right in. Okay, so if at any point throughout this video you decide that you want to sign up for this competition and compete against me, you can sign up through the link in the description to this video. Now, let's just talk about what we're going to go through in this video. Number one, we're going to go through the competition rules so that you know what you're getting into. And number two, we're going to talk about my strategy as well as the strategy of the winners from last year. We're going to do some homework, we're going to do some studying, and we're going to figure out what we need to do in order to win this competition. But before we get to that, let's talk about the money. The prizes in this competition are absolutely insane. If you come away with first place after 6 weeks, meaning that you had the best overall return over 6 weeks using ETFs, you're going to walk away with $20,000 Canadian cold hard money. If you come in second, you get $10,000, and if you come in third, you get $5,000. And there are also 6 weekly prizes of $1,000 for whoever has the best returns over that single week period. And so the money is real, the prizes are real, and the money that you are trading is just fantasy funds. You are going to get started with $100,000 in fantasy funds, so it costs you absolutely nothing to sign up. It is completely free, there is no risk, and it is all reward. There are over $40,000 in cash prizes in total. The competition goes on for 6 weeks. Like I said, it is Canadian ETFs only. It is sponsored by Global X, by BetaPro. They're the ones hosting this competition and putting up the money for these prizes. And it is absolutely amazing. They're doing a great thing for the community here. The competition officially starts on September 15th and it runs until October 24th. And registration is now open. But like I said, if you sign up early, you are entered for a chance to win those early bird prizes. So it makes a huge difference here. Now, the rules. You need to understand the rules and the boundaries that we are playing within, because this is really important, because you don't want to get disqualified. You don't want to mess this up. You need to, number one, register. If you're not in it, you can't compete, you can't trade, you don't get any fantasy funds. So the first thing you need to do is register through the link in the description to this video. Next, you can only trade Canadian ETFs. So you need to understand the ETF providers, what they offer, and what the different options are between them. On top of that, there is no short selling. There are inverse ETFs, but there is no short selling in this competition. There's also no margin, and commissions are not calculated as part of the overall ROI. So you basically just don't have to worry about commissions. The other thing you need to note, and this is super important, is that your maximum position size can only be 25% of the portfolio. So if you start with 100K, you can only put 25K into a single ETF. You'd have to break it into 4 different ETFs to basically deploy all of the capital all at once. And so those are the rules, those are the prizes, that's what you need to know. Now let's start taking a quick look at the last year's winner. So I always like to do this because it just gives me an idea of what their strategy was and what I need to kind of aim for over a 6-week period. Last year, a gentleman named Simon Bolton Smith returned 27.25% over a 6-week period. And he actually told us his strategy. He told us exactly what he did. He said, my specific trading strategy involved a focus on commodity-focused, leveraged, and inverse leveraged BetaPro ETFs. You're going to notice a theme here. This allowed me to effectively capture positive and inverse price movements in the oil and natural gas segments of the marketplace. So he was trading the BetaPro leveraged ETFs that track oil and gas as well as natural gas. So that was his strategy. We also know the strategy of second and third place, and it's really, really interesting. Second place said, my strategy focused on leveraged and inverse leveraged ETFs, again a commonality with first place. With Global X ETFs playing a significant role in my process, I relied heavily on my own analysis, combining it with well-timed orders to capitalize on market volatility. They were using Global X, inverse, and leveraged ETFs to capitalize on market volatility. That was the strategy there. And third place here, the last strategy, they said, in this competition, I was able to achieve my results by trading only leveraged, inverse, and inverse leveraged ETFs, said Mr. Kim. I believe that the various strategies offered under the BetaPro family, including the gold, silver, oil, and natural gas focused ETFs, are among the best ETFs in Canada. And so again, he's using the inverse, he's using the leverage, he's tying it to the commodities, he's tying it to what he sees in the marketplace, and that is the same strategy that we are going to use this year. So my personal playbook, I plan to use the leveraged ETFs because that's going to give me a higher risk to return ratio. And honestly, I'm not too worried about losing money. I'm worried about going all out and trying to get above that basically 20% over 6 weeks. And so this isn't how I would manage my regular portfolio, but it is going to be a great example of what a high risk, high reward portfolio looks like using leveraged ETFs. I'm going to rely predominantly on technical analysis rather than fundamental analysis, and I'm going to try and tie that in with the global and economic events that I am seeing as the competition progresses. So if we see major disruptions to oil and gas, and we see prices start to skyrocket, that is where I'm going to put my focus. If we see something else happening with gold, I'm going to try and focus there. I'm going to try and go to wherever the attention and the movement is that I can best understand based on my technical analysis. Now, when it comes to leveraged ETFs, if you don't know what they are very, very simple. They are ETFs that use derivatives such as options, futures, and swaps to amplify both the gains and the losses. So if the underlying and the regular ETF moved up by 1%, the 2x or the 3x leveraged, let's just use that as an example, the 3x leveraged ETF would move up by 3%. Now, this type of ETFs are primarily used for short-term trading, which makes them absolutely perfect for this competition. And they usually have a higher expense ratio, but over the short term, it matters much less. And so this is the strategy. This is what I plan to use primarily. And in summary here for this video, number one, just make sure you register, make sure you sign up, and make sure you're there when the competition opens so that you can build that portfolio and start making trades. If you want to see the trades that I am making, I'm going to be posting throughout the length of the competition so you can see how I'm doing, what my analysis looks like, the mistakes I'm making, as well as the wins that I'm making. And so you can follow along the entire way. Make sure to click that like and subscribe button, and make sure you do a little bit of research learning how these ETFs work, how the leveraged ETFs work, and how the inverse leveraged ETFs work, because those are going to be the most powerful tools in your tool belt for this competition. And check out the link in the description to sign up. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to competing with you over the next couple of weeks, and I will see you there. Take care.